Welcome to Calculated Keto. If you're new to our channel, feel free to subscribe for some tasty meals from our 28-day meal plan. We're on day 6 of week 2. So we're going to go over what we made for breakfast this morning, and then we'll get into our topic of the day. So we made our egg muffins, or I like to call them mini omelets. We made this for day 7 from week 1 with just one slight adjustment. But they're super delicious, they're portable, super easy. So all we did was add in 2 eggs, half an ounce of cheese, 10 grams of spinach, and this time we added 1 ounce of cream cheese. And then you just put it in a muffin tin, put it in the oven at 300 degrees for about 20-25 minutes. They taste really good. I'll put right here the video from day 7 of last week on how to make these, just in case you want to check it out. All right, so for the calories, carbs, and cost for this breakfast, it's 298 calories, 3.2 net carbs, and it cost $1.62.
All right, so for our topic of today, we're gonna get a little deep in our discussion.
Oh, great.
So we're living a lot longer as far as human beings, which is good. Thank you, modern medicine. But we're not really living any more healthy lives. We're actually declining in our health, and so we have more disease. And so my question, or our question is it possible to change course? Can we start living healthier lives as a whole?
I mean, automatically my answer is no. Like, the cynic in me thinks that people do what they want, so if it's hard, people won't try to change it. But I mean, I want to believe that anything's possible. Like, individually, people are able to change. So if enough individuals change, the world could change.
Okay, so there is a study from 2018, some research that was done. Guess which country in the world was considered the healthiest?
I mean, is there a country of bodybuilders? What's the definition of health?
So they consider things like obesity or tobacco use, things like that. So just like in general health.
I literally have no idea. My guess is Greece.
Greece. That's close. It's in the same vicinity.
Italy?
Number 1 is Spain.
Spain.
The number
Spanish.
2 is Italy. 3 is Iceland, 4 is Japan, and 5 is Switzerland.
Okay.
So, I mean, it seems like there's some in that Europe area, probably because, more like Mediterranean living.
Yeah, I was thinking, that's why I said Greece, is because of Mediterranean style food is healthier.
So, kind of interesting. Where do you think the U.S. ranks?
Last.
We're just giving a number here.
Well, out of how many?
I don't know.
Countries.
A couple hundred countries, so.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Shot in the dark guess. I'm going to say like 100.
So, not that bad. I mean, it's still not great, but we're ranked number 35.
Oh, well, it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, definitely not great, especially when...
Kind of surprises me, honestly.
Yeah, especially when the United States is trying to be number 1 in everything, right? We're like the wealthiest country in the world. Like, you'd think it would be a little bit better than that, but number 35 isn't that great.
Nope, not great.
I wonder if it's ever been done. Like, there's a country that was really bad as far as health-wise, and then they made some changes, reversed the course, and became really healthy. Or like countries like Japan, have they just always been healthy for, centuries, right?
Well, I know with Japan, it's like cultural. And so I think maybe some of those are probably cultural, but I have heard that Australia has been trying to they've been doing a lot of health initiatives and stuff through the government. I don't know any statistics on that. If you guys know, educate us. But I have heard.
Yeah, I think I saw on the list that they were like number 7 on the list, so that's pretty good. So it seems like it is possible to change, obviously.
I guess they'll show us in the future if it is.
So the question is, what would it take for the United States to go from number 35 to number 1 in the whole world?
Well, I think generally speaking, most illness and disease and premature death are caused by somebody not taking care of themselves in one way or another. So, diet and exercise are a huge part of that. So, I feel like most people would agree with diet and exercise being a solution.
That's a good point. So to piggyback off of that, I saw a study that shows that about 73% of men are either overweight or obese.
Wow, that's high.
Yeah, and then 67% of women. So I'm sure that's a major cause of the illness and disease going around, right? Being overweight and obese. And diet is going to be the major contributor to that. So for the sake of the question though, since we know that diet is a major part of that, let's focus on what are the 3 foods or ingredients that you would choose to get rid of that you think would improve?
That's a loaded question. Well, initially off the bat, my first thought is soda. Like
That's a good
diet
one.
soda, normal soda, like eliminate all the soda. And then the second thing I think of is bread. I don't think that all bread is garbage or anything, but it's really easy to overindulge in bread. Like I could eat a whole loaf by myself.
True.
And most breads that we buy, at least in the United States, are full of like crap
Yeah.
and sugar and
Right.
unnecessary ingredients.
That's totally true.
And then the third one, can I just say like desserts in general? Like cookies and cakes and
Yeah,
stuff.
processed
Like, kind
foods.
of cheating, but
Processed sugars.
yeah, those are super tempting.
So you're saying that if we got rid of soda, pastries, cookies, and bread, then we would be healthier as a whole.
I mean, yeah, I think that it'd be great to eliminate those temptations for people, but at the same time, I also think that you can overindulge in anything, really. You know, if it's not this, it's that.
Yeah, if those foods didn't exist, we'd probably find some healthy food, just to turn into a junk food. We'd overconsume. So it's more of like a principle problem that we're having, discipline problem.
Yeah.
Than it is like there are certain foods out there that are just killing us, right? We'll usually find something to damage
Yeah,
our
I
body.
don't think that you'd really need to eliminate food. You'd need to teach a new way of living.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, what do you think? What would you change?
So those are pretty good. If I had to choose 3 things, I don't think I would change those. But I do think that a big reason why our health is declining is because we're eating it out a lot more. I mean, if you think about it, like think of our parents and grandparents, like they didn't eat out, at least not that often.
I like eating out.
It's true, but like they were eating like home cooked meals, from mom. And so like even me growing up, like I'm sure you're probably similar, like we would only go out to eat like a few times per year. And a lot of people were eating out like a few times per day or per week.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah, so definitely not great for your health to do that because companies aren't focusing on, what's best for your health. They're thinking of money, right? Cost, profit, which a lot of the time when they're cutting costs, it's going to be because it's bad ingredients and it's going to hurt your body.
Yeah, but I also think you have to think about how times have changed since our grandparents' day, since our parents' day even. Like, we live in a world now of instant gratification. Like, think about our phones and TV and computers. Like, everything moves at a much faster pace than it did back in the day. So we're not wanting to sit and cook a homemade meal for an hour. We want to go and get it from somebody else right away and instantly taste delicious food.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I know during this time, a lot of people are quarantining, right? Staying at home. And so a lot of people are like learning how to cook and, doing home cooked meals more. Do you think that will actually stick, or do you think we'll just go back to bad habits and start eating out a lot again?
I think some people, yeah, I think absolutely it will influence people to learn these skills and do more cooking at home. But I think generally speaking, people are going to be so relieved once all of this eventually passes that they'll want to go out more, and it'll be like a treat to do so, and then people just continue to do that from there.
Slip back into bad
Yeah,
habits.
bad habits.
Time for lunch today. So for day 5's dinner last night, we had salmon, and we usually like to have leftovers for lunch the next day, but salmon is really expensive, and so instead of doing that, we're gonna have some sardines, and we put it on our biscuits from last night, so it's kind of like an open face tuna fish sandwich style. And we also are going to have 1 ounce of macadamia nuts. We really like sardines, but we understand that not everybody does. And so if you're following our meal plan and you really just can't get down sardines, then we would recommend that you cook up an extra fillet of salmon on day 5's dinner. That way you have it for lunch today. But what I'll do is I'll put in the description what we put in these sardines, like the ingredients and the spices, so you have that. So for the triple C's for this lunch, it is 759 calories, 5.3 net carbs, and costs $2.99.
So for dinner tonight, we're making pancakes with some yummy toppings. So it's going to be 3 pancakes with whipped cream and strawberry sauce on top. And we usually have day 6 fall on a Saturday. So we like to be a little bit more indulgent and make really yummy meals on Saturdays. So last week was pizza. This week it's pancakes. We'll see what's next week. So we're going to start by making the homemade whipped cream first so it can chill in the fridge while we're making our pancakes. So if you've ever made homemade whipping cream before, it is insanely easy. And we're doing nothing special here. So it's just 4 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream in this bowl. And I'm going to add about 20 drops of stevia and just a little bit of vanilla extract. We put down 1/8 of a teaspoon just to give you reference, but I'm just going to eyeball it. So I'm just going to add these ingredients in here and whip it up. There we have it, our whipped cream. So I'll just pop this in the fridge and we'll get started on our pancakes. Okay, so now we're going to whip up our pancake mix. We'll start by putting all of our dry ingredients together and getting that mixed up in a bowl. So for our dry ingredients, we have a 1/4 cup of almond flour, 1 tablespoon of coconut flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and about 1/8 teaspoon of both salt and cinnamon, but it's really just a dash to taste. So now that we have all of our dry ingredients mixed together in this overly large bowl, we're going to just add all of our wet ingredients into the same bowl. So for the wet ingredients, we've got 1 tablespoon of heavy whipping cream, 30 drops of liquid stevia, a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/2 ounce of butter, and 2 eggs. So I forgot to mention that we also add 2 tablespoons of water to our pancake mix, so don't forget to do that. But we're now ready to make our pancakes, so I just preheat our pan and greased it. Don't forget to grease it beforehand. And we just heat it to like a low setting so it doesn't burn the pancakes. This should make 3 pancakes, and we use a 1/3 cup. So we've got our first pancake cooking right now, and since it takes a minute, we're gonna go ahead and make our strawberry sauce really quick. So this is just 50 grams of strawberries. It's like 6 strawberries. But all we do to make the sauce is microwave the strawberries, add some liquid stevia, and mash it all together, and it makes a really yummy sweet sauce. All right, here's our first pancake. Kind of manhandling it, so I ripped it a little, but it looks really good. Okay, my mouth's watering. Tell me this doesn't look amazing. But before I dig in, let's do this triple C's for this meal. It's 715 calories, 10.5 net carbs, and it cost $2.38.
Okay, so to wrap up day 6, we had a total of 1,812 calories, 19 net carbs, and cost $7.36. And we also, for our supplements, we just did some cod liver oil, and also we do apple cider vinegar in the morning. So to wrap up today's topic of the day, is it possible for us to change course and improve our health as a whole? And I think the only way we're going to be able to do that is first we have to realize and come to the understanding that what we're doing isn't working, which I don't know if we're quite there yet. And then second is that we all have to be educated on what foods are hurting us, what foods are good for us. And it's definitely not easy to do when there's companies out there that are literally trying to trick us and market to us, you know, saying, hey, this food is healthy, right? That's a lot of times we see that.
Yeah, there's like 10 different names for sugar. Like,
that's
when you can't read a label, I don't know how you're expected to know if something's good or bad for you.
Right. And they're using ingredients that we have no idea, you know, what they actually are, or if they're harmful or good for us. Before we started doing our own research and, you know, online and things like that, like we had no idea what foods were bad for us or what certain, you know, things on the label meant.
Yeah, so one of the first things that we did when we started this health journey was look up the ingredients on the labels of the foods we were eating. And we were pretty shocked with what we found because there's a lot of scary chemicals and really wonky things that are in our food that shouldn't be in there. So I think that's a really good place to start. Just take one thing out of your pantry and go look up the ingredients. If you don't know what it is, take a look on the internet and type it in and it'll pop up and you'll see what it is, and just kind of start learning what these words mean and how then you can start navigating your food a little bit better.
Yeah, and that's really one of the reasons why we started this channel, is just to share our experience, what we've learned so far. But there's tons of other resources, you know, different YouTube channels, and just online you can find so much information to educate yourselves on what's good, what's bad. That way you can make good, educated decisions for yourselves.
So what I think it comes down to for me is what I said earlier. It's more about the individual and your family unit, whoever you're eating with on a regular basis. If all you can do right now is get yourself and your family fed, then you're doing an amazing job. But if you have the ability to educate yourself and make some changes, then do it. It doesn't even have to be keto. Just maybe go out to eat less and cook at home a little bit more and have less sugar, and you're going to be better off than most people that are in the world right now.
I agree with that. You don't have to focus on what everybody else is doing. You can just focus on yourself and your family, make some goals. And I mean, even if you just started with those few things, right? Not going out to eat, eating less sugar, you're going to see massive improvements in your budget and your finances too. We like to focus on that in this channel. And so we could do a whole separate video on people going into massive amounts of debt and, you know, spending way too much going out to eat and blowing their budget on that stuff. So, but let us know what you guys' thoughts are on the topic of the day. What do you think? Do you think we can make this change as a whole? And what steps do we need to take to be able to do that? But we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.